but I'd like to thank you for joining Darien Library this Wednesday evening for Get Organized with Adèle. We're joined tonight by Adèle Mahabir, and she was born in Trinidad and currently lives in Darien, Connecticut. Since childhood, organizing and cleanliness have been a healthy obsession for her, so she naturally made it into her field of study and occupation. Right now, she has her own booming business, Adèle Organizes, and we're going to learn from the best. Before we begin, I'd like to mention that programs at Darien Library are made possible by the annual Friends of the Library campaign. We thank you for your support to make programs like this, as well as our collections, available to the community. And now I'm going to pass the floor over to Adèle. Thank you, Adèle.
Hi, everyone. My name is Adèle Mahabir. Thank you for joining us. But, Happy New Year. And I know the New Year is a time when people think about just hitting the reset button as far as getting their house organized and cleaned and just starting off in a different way and changing old habits. I even do the same thing in my home. And I think something that we all should remember in starting the process of cleaning out and decluttering and getting our house organized is to get rid of everything we don't use. And it doesn't mean that we have to throw it away. There's so many people who need stuff, and it can be donated. And even selling things online is so easy now. So I advise you to do that. If you're going through the process of getting your house organized, because it's a new year, the first steps that I do is, say we're starting with the kitchen, is really to pull everything out. And I know it's going to be a huge mess and it'll probably make you feel overwhelmed, but just take everything out and try to categorize things and go through things in a way that you do it in a way where you just eliminate everything that you don't use. Especially in kitchens, there's so many expired goods, but I really try to just categorize things, get rid of things we don't use. And then I create like little bins, which I had pictures and baskets and things like that, which I really want to show you. I know with canned goods, I know they expire, and once a year, I do that for certain clients, even twice a year. And I go through their canned goods and even their spices, things like that. With the spice question, my recommendation would be to the ones that you don't use very often, because I have spices also that I use twice a year. I just keep them in separate containers. And when I feel like I'm making a dish that I need it, then I pull that out, but I don't keep it in my spice cabinet for my daily use. So with bills and paper, my general rule is as soon as I get my mail, when I'm outside, I walk directly to my recycling bin. I don't bring my mail inside the house because I feel it's very dangerous. You can keep a recycling bin somewhere by your door or outside or somewhere where I sort through the mail. I feel generally 90% of our mail is junk. So I don't let it enter the house, because then I feel like it becomes a mountain, and I see it all the time in my clients' houses. And then you're like, okay, well, I'll get to that maybe over the weekend, and you never do. So the general rule is to just throw it out immediately before you enter the house. And once you enter the house, keep it somewhere where you can see it. And then by the end of that week, try to, do what you have to do with it. But all of my bills, my electric bill, my credit cards, everything gets emailed to me. So I have everything set up on paperless statements, no bank statements, nothing comes in the mail anymore. So that's the reason why so much of my mail is junk. So that's my advice regarding paper and mail. So I like the sort of drawers that pull out in kitchens that are a bit deep. They're about this height, but they pull out. And then I have organizers that go inside of the drawer, but now they have built-ins that come for pots and pans and Tupperware. I've used a lot in pull-out drawers. And I like to keep the lids on my Tupperware so that I know a lot of people separate their lids and their containers. I keep the lids on top of everything so that I'm not searching for a lid when I need to find, when I want to use that item. But the drawers pulling out is my suggestion for the designing of the kitchen. That really helps with that sort of stuff. I unsubscribe. I used to subscribe to so many magazines, and I think we all live such busy lives, and I used to always think I'll eventually get to them. I started giving myself a week. If I don't get to look in through that magazine by the end of the week, it goes in the trash. But don't hold on to magazines. It eventually causes a lot of clutter. Um, so I would say if you have 5 subscriptions, maybe pick your favorite and cancel the rest. There's also so much stuff online now as far as magazines, like parenting magazines. All these magazines now are online, so you don't really need to get that actual paper magazine and create clutter in your house. I hope that helps. So my business has 2 components. It's home organizing and move management. Move management is a significant part of my business because me implementing what I do for a client before they move and after they move has been very crucial and critical. And people see a lot of value in bringing in a person like me after, so most of the time, a lot of times before the move and after the move. But people also find it beneficial, the investment of getting an organizer when you're moving into a new house, because sometimes we have habits that we've lived our entire lives, and moving into a new house and having someone like me come in and set up systems for you, and finding a home for everything, and you knowing where everything goes, basically creates a new lifestyle for you. So that's been a really big part of my business, is going in after the move. So this on the left picture here with the pantry, you'll see the sort of systems I create with jars and bins and baskets and everything being labeled. And it just gives the family just a lot of function, and kids able to reach snacks and just be self-sufficient. It just makes everything much easier and simplified instead of having it in boxes or bags. To the top right is the spices. I like to do spices all in one bottle and have the labels done, and all of that just creates a lot of fun. You also want things to look pretty. I really like things to look pretty as well. And then the bottom is a closet, which I'll talk more about. You can go to the next slide, Amanda. And I spoke a little bit about move management. The move management part of my business is I've had clients with little children or busy professional lives or elderly people. There's so many different examples of people moving and not having the time to be able to manage their move and to just work through all the components that's involved with a move, sorting through all of our things before we move, getting rid of them. What do I do with it? Getting the right mover, how much money you want to spend on a mover, like doing all of this research. People get very overwhelmed with the whole moving process. So a lot of people hire me to just handle all of this for them. I recently had a client last month who was moving. They had 3 very little kids, and they were concerned about COVID, and they didn't want to be around the movers during the packing process. And so they kind of just lived with their in-laws for a month while I handled the whole move for them, the pre-move and the post-move. So that's a little bit about my move management business. You could go to the next one. So I want to talk about the method of organizing when I, when I go into, I think you skipped a slide, Amanda, the one with the Post-it notes. You go into when you're starting a project, say with your kitchen or your closet, you really want to sort everything. Sorting is the first step, and it's the main event that happens. So you sort everything, you lay everything out, you you categorize things, you decide what you want to keep, you create a recycling or a trash, you donate things, you sell things, you know, that's really the process of getting organized. And it's really what from A to Z you need to do if you're going to do something like this on your own. Okay, next slide, please. So this is an example of a pantry where I use jars and baskets, again, with the bins and labeling things. I really like it, especially when I do pantries for families with kids, to keep things at a level where the kids can reach it, they can see things, they can get home from school, they can grab things. It's just accessible and easy. On the top, I keep things that you don't use as often, rice, beans, things like that. But putting things in jars, getting things labels, it's really, you know, you see how pretty it looks and yet it's functional as well. Okay. This was a kitchen that I did in Greenwich where, you know, it was a, you know, very open, but, you know, I like to do things by color. I like to do things by function. And, you know, you see all the glass jars on top of the counter. She likes to bake a lot, so I created all the baking things in one section, and then the cookbooks, but using baskets and bottles and bins, and, you know, just having things in areas like that just creates a lot of function. And I think we also want to enjoy our space where we enjoy looking at it as well. So I really try my best to do that. Again, you know, same thing. I just wanted to show you examples of what you can do in your pantry and your kitchen. So I tried to put in as many images with that as possible. And all these things I get at Container Store, at Home Goods, at Bed Bath & Beyond, Amazon, Target. I mean, there's so many resources to find all of this stuff if you want to do it by yourself. Next, please. This was a refrigerator that I did, and actually I forgot to take images, but there are these labels that you can order that are pre-made that you can stick on things if you need to, with that will say salad and fruits and, you know, yogurt, and there are all these fun things you can do inside of a refrigerator. So this just keeps things really, you know, nice to look at and easy. Okay, so this is a closet where I just wanted to talk about closets. You know, I know it's a big thing for people. So I do things, there are various ways of doing closets. Well, first of all, when if you're doing a master closet, for example, I mean, as I said before, and it's the same thing in every room, you really have to sort through everything and figure out what you don't wear. You know, that whole sparking joy thing, really go through all of your clothes. And if you're not loving it, I mean, really just get rid of it. And sometimes I think we hold on to things and we think we're going to wear it, and we don't end up doing it. And it sits in our closets for years, or it's not the right size, or we're just not feeling it anymore. So that's when you need to make the decision to just say, okay, goodbye. So I sort, you know, closets. There are so many different ways of doing it. You can do it by color, by style, by season. I try to, you know, categorize when I do a closet, especially if it's a huge walk-in master closet. I'll do it in categories by season, and then by color and by style. You know, all these little bins here. You see those clear bins, those are nice for shoes. I like to roll everything like you see on the shelves. Rolling things just really makes it accessible, and it just keeps things from being wrinkled and, you know, again, looking pretty. Next, please. So back to, so you see, like in this middle image here in the drawer with the rolled you know, clothing of little tops and underwear, socks, things like that. There are those dividers which you can, those drawer dividers you can get anywhere. Those are great to just keep things in the drawer, and it has a home, and it's just very, very functional, because when you pile t-shirts, for example, on top of each other in the drawer, you end up only using the top, say 3 t-shirts, and all the ones on the bottom never get used. So the image to the bottom right, that's the file folder system. You fold your t-shirts in a way where when you open the drawer, you can see all of it, and then you end up wearing all of it. It's very, very functional to use that method. The top right image, I just wanted to show you, like, you know, using bins and labeling things, and, you know, just extra things that we may have, or seasonal items, or Christmas or Easter, you know, even just birthday wrap. Just using this method of bins and keeping things in closets like that and putting a label on it really helps with function and getting things, you know, just accessible. Next image, please. These organizers, I just wanted to show you, they're so functional. I feel like I've used it in every project of mine. It's just something that can be used for t-shirts, for bags, for, I mean, basically every item in every closet. I've used it in drawers, on shelves. It just keeps, it creates a lot of function and accessibility to really anything that is in your closet. It can be used for underwear, for socks, for jewelry. I mean, I've used it for basically everything, and I just love this, so I had to give it its own page.
Adele, can you share what the product is called? Is it like an accordion almost?
It has like 1, 2, 3, 5 components for it. I mean, I don't know the name of it. I'll look while I'm talking, and I'll see if I could, or I don't know, if you're gonna send an email after the meeting, I will. I don't know the exact name
That's
of
okay.
it,
We can
but
hold off. I was
it's,
just curious if you knew
yeah,
off the top of your head.
it's something that, you know, I get on Amazon.
Okay, thank you.
Again, with the, you know, just sorting your clothes by color, and you know, just you really want your clothes to be accessible, and doing this sort of function with laying out your clothes this way, it just creates, you know, less stress. And, you know, these are just images. I wanted you to get a general idea of how to organize your closet. Later on, if you have questions, that'll be fine. This was a master closet I did in Greenwich. The before pictures, it's really hard to see, it's a bit blurry, but there was really no function to this closet when I went in. It was just, everything was just put after the move. So it wasn't categorized by season, or, you know, like say fancy clothes, or, you know, office clothes. So then I categorized everything by season, and then did it by color, and created function. Like I tried to create one section where it was summer, winter, fall, and then just making everything accessible. You see the bins I used. I rolled a lot of the sweaters, which you can see on the shelves. You know, things like that. I mean, it's self-explanatory, but I just wanted to give you visual of that. This was a teen girl closet. Obviously you could see the messy images, was the before pictures. And again, on the shelves, you see how I rolled things. I did things by color. I added some baskets. You see her socks and underwear drawer here, where again, everything is by color. And yeah, there you go. This was an art room, a kid's art room, and they also use it for storage for gift wrap and stuff. But you could see the before images on the left, and you know, we really just got rid of a lot of things that they were not using. So the right side images, you can see how there's hardly anything left. They just had a lot of art stuff that wasn't being used anymore, so we donated a lot of it. This is actually a video, Amanda. This was the nursery for the job I did last month. This was after the move. Are you able to play the?
No, it won't let me click on it. It's just an image for me.
Okay, so let's go to the next slide.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. This was a garage. The two left pictures was the before, and I wanted to show you some of the systems. The cabinets that I ordered from Home Depot on the right side. I used those cabinets to really categorize and organize things that you could see that are just, you know, there's no order to the before pictures. And then these magnetic strips for the wall are really great to put the tools on and to be able to see everything, and it creates a lot of function. Those two, all of those things you can, the hardware you can get at Home Depot. So part of also what I do is clients, realtors, and just even homeowners in general bring me in before they put their house on the market. A lot of times we accumulate things in our lives, and our house, you know, is just not market ready. And being market ready means that you really have to declutter your house. So the top images were what the house looked like before, and then, you know, and I have an interior design background, so I did some staging with this project as well. But we really decluttered the house and made it look, you know, just clean and functional and appealing. So I have realtors contacting me all the time to go in before a house goes on the market. So this is an example of that. This was an after move. So this is what I mean. So the top right image is me sorting all the toiletries into categories before I actually put it into drawers and baskets and all of that. This is what I mean by sorting and just laying everything out and really figuring out what do I use, and then coming up with a system, meaning bins and baskets and labeling everything. But this was after the move. I laid everything out. I showed the client, this is what you have. Do you really use all of this? Do you want it? Then I created a system for it for her. But putting things out like that really lets you see what you have, and it makes you realize what you need more of or what you haven't used in years. So this was unpacking after a move and organizing and well, that fun stuff that I do. This was a basement. So the bottom right corner is the before picture. This basement, it was really difficult to get into this basement. Everything was shoved in there after a move, and it stayed like that for years, and the client just didn't even know what they had down there. So I had to, it was a small space as well. So I went in there and I really, so as you see the after pictures on the top and the left side, everything went into bins, it got labels. I got the shelving thing where, you know, they had like extra cleaning products and extra paper towels and cups and summer entertaining and things like that, and gift wrap and all of that. But the basement was a really big project because as you can see, nothing had any function or order to it. This was a linen closet that I just did last week. You know, I sometimes I put linens in baskets, or, you know, I did both in this closet because it was two linen closets, and I put these labels on each shelf so that everyone just knows after the laundry is done, because sometimes we have staff and things like that that puts things away, so it just creates a lot of function and we know where, you know, everything goes. So you can either put those little tags on the shelves and label them, or as you see on the bottom, baskets where I have those basket clips and then you can put in there what goes in, and once everything has a home, we know where it goes back and we know where to find it, and it makes our life so easy. Yes, I just wanted to mention to follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I wanted to use our extra time for questions, and which is why I didn't create too many images. I really want to answer your questions and do the best I can to help you. So it's not markers. Those are pre-printed labels.
Oh. Where do you usually purchase them?
Yes, exactly. So I purchased them on Amazon. So like the refrigerator, the pantry, I mean, if you go into Amazon and you put in pantry labels or refrigerator labels, closet labels, I mean, they have labels for bathrooms, and everything is pre-printed and it comes in a package. You normally get 20, 30 labels and it's under $10. So on all the containers, I used labels that I pre-ordered. I have a label machine, which I also use on certain, like in drawers and things like that. I use my label machine for, but like in my own kitchen here, like this snack jar, hold on.
Oh yeah, there you go.
You see how it says snacks on the jar? That label, can you see it?
It's a little dark.
That label,
oh, there it is.
Yeah, that's one of the labels that you can order on Amazon. And then I use these a lot. So you see, this is how I organize my, I use these containers for my kids so they could just grab snacks and it's labeled and we know where it is, and then I refill it with more. But these I use a lot for, everything. And it's just here and they, really, I know that you have to utilize every inch of those closets. I had this one closet where I added an additional rack to the top because there was space on the top, which was just being wasted. So I added an additional rod, and then I got one of those rod, kind of like a hook. And then we used that for seasonal clothes that wasn't being used very often. That's one thing. For small closets, really just putting things away that you don't use and bringing them out as needed. I mean, switching your closets once a year in different seasons is really what you have to do with small closets, sadly, because it's a lot of work.
Now, what do you recommend for storage for winter clothes and summer clothes, like when you swap your seasonal clothes out?
Yeah, just really using bins and putting them away and switching them back and forth and labeling them and keeping them categorized by, skirts and tops and, things like that. But I use a lot of storage bins for storing seasonal clothes. I think it goes back to, when I first started talking, is really just getting rid of all of the things we don't use. So decluttering is, as I said, laying everything out, figuring out what you don't use, and getting rid of things, donating it, and the things that you are keeping, using baskets and bins and containers and things like that to organize it. But decluttering is really just about getting rid of all the things we don't use. Yeah, I know, and that's why I organize every day.
Do you find make a certain time specifically for organizing? Do you set aside time for that?
Yeah, I really, even if I have 5 minutes in the morning before I leave for work or 20 minutes before bed, I try to just put everything back before the end of the day. And it's really hard because we're tired and we have so much things to do, but I invest time every day to make sure everything is back where it belongs. And my kids, I mean, I have guns at their heads so they don't, mess up anything. But no, I've trained my kids from a very young age to be organized. I see a lot, I work in a lot of homes with young kids, and parents are constantly asking me, how do I keep the house in order? My kids are little and they're constantly messing up the house. So I just, I used to reward my kids a lot when they were little with just putting toys back where they belong, putting their clothes back, like just teaching that at a very young age, I feel is crucial. But my advice to her is to spend even if it's 5 minutes a day to put things back. That's the only way you're going to keep your house in order.
Mhm. Thank you.
It's a
And
daily job. That's something I don't do. It's always like something I would like to do and I never have the time. That's something I'm so disorganized about. I like with my pictures, I put them into albums on my phone or on my computer. That's my best way of organizing pictures, but I don't really have a system with that because I'm bad with that. I'm just gonna I usually use the moth. You can buy those moth things. Those cedar chips I really like. I've used those in the bins, but I've never bought bins specifically for moth. You can get those moth things to buy at Bed Bath and Beyond. I
do you
mean, it's
just put them in the bin?
yeah, I put them in
Okay.
the bin. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. I think I've seen that at Bed Bath and Beyond.
yeah. They sell it everywhere. Yeah,
Now, I have a question for you. I am currently in the process of organizing my like a craft desk, and I
yeah.
wasn't sure if you had any advice before I start my journey other than what you've already shared today.
I just did a craft. I just did a kids playroom where there was this whole craft station, and I bought these really cute. They're white. They're not clear, but these really cute small containers to hold all the various different art supplies that the kids were using. I also like the turntable for art
Mhm.
stations, which all of these things I'm talking about is at Container Store. I use those for like just paint and paintbrushes and markers and things like that. I really like how it turns, and I love to just put all the different because the turntables have sections, and you can put your stuff by color, and it just looks pretty and it's functional and all of that. Yeah, and they have like I use the 4 ounce bottles for you see that drawer that in the first image with the spices. The 4 ounce holds a significant because when you buy a bottle of spice at the grocery store, it's usually about 2.7, 2.8 ounces. I bought the 4 ounces of this so that if you buy a larger bottle or smaller, it would still fit in this size. And then I created a little bin of like extra so that when this gets empty, we would refill it. And the client I just moved last week in Darien, I'm gonna go in there once or twice a month and really keep the house in tip-top shape, which is what I do for some of my clients. But the spices, a 3 or a 4 ounce jar, if you're gonna buy like the same size spice bottle, that's a safe thing to do because of the size you're buying at the grocery store. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, so I mean, there's so many different sort of containers to organize things like that at Container Store, or there's just so many options to keep those things organized with bins. I mean, one day, if you want to do this yourself, just go take a trip to the Container Store. You'll see how many options they have to keep things like that organized. But I want to answer your question about the towels. I mean, it's really nice to have all your towels be one color. I would really think about the towels you really love and the ones you haven't used in a long time to just get rid of them. You could also just organize your towels by color, and that would also create function and make it look pretty as well. But if you have a whole bunch of different colors, just maybe think about getting rid of some. That's usually the best advice. We hold on to a lot of things we don't use, and the main goal in organizing is just to get rid of things we don't use. That's really the mindset we have to get into, and it frees up a lot of space and creates a lot less stress in our lives. So I love laundry rooms. That was also a room I just recently did. I put, I don't know if everyone uses OxyClean, but I love using OxyClean. I used glass jars in this laundry room I did last week, where I put the Oxy Wash, any powder detergent, if you're using powder, or even the pods. They look really nice in those big glass jars, like how I have the snacks in these jars, They're almost the same exact jar as what's behind me. And then you can stick labels on them with, like, I use pods and I use the powder oxy wash. And okay, so these jars behind me are really good for laundry. So I use those, and I use little bins also to keep all of my detergents into one bin. And then I put labels on the bin so everyone knows where everything is. That's my best advice with laundry room. Yeah, so if you have a lot, like say you're doing a full clean out, like say before a move or something like that, I just schedule a pickup with Salvation Army. If you don't want to do the work yourself as far as putting it in your car and driving it somewhere, I live in Darien, so I donate a lot of things to the swap shop or to P2P. There are also these drop bins where I do clothing, but Salvation Army will come with a truck and they'll pick up, I think, 12 boxes at a time, and you can schedule 2 to 3 days of pickup in 1 week. They take furniture, they take toys, dishes, clothing, they take everything. And I use them a lot when I work with clients because they're showing up with a truck and they're doing all of the work. So that's my best advice to Salvation Army.
That's great. Very convenient.
Yeah. Oh, so you collect, and you would like to look at them. I would just use something clear and put it on a shelf where at least you can enjoy seeing it. They even have glass boxes you can put them into.
That's a good idea.
Because I think when you collect things that you love, and obviously you're collecting it because you love it, you want to see it. So I would do something like a glass box, or, just because it wouldn't necessarily look nice in plastic.
Yeah, true.
And you also want to protect it, right, from dust and just, getting old and all of that. A recent refrigerator that I just did, they have these bins at Container Store that are specifically made for fruits and vegetables, which means that the bottom layer of the bin, and some of them have covers, and some, this image does not show it, but some of the bins have covers and some don't. And but they're great because they keep your fruits and vegetables. And if you go to Container Store online and you put in fruit containers or vegetable containers, they'll come up. Those are really perfect for keeping your fruits and vegetables organized and to keep them long term, because they're not, the bottom of the container doesn't actually sit there. There's this mesh thing on the bottom which protects it and keeps it longer. I love those, and I love to label them with, that says veggies or specifically what they are. They just look really, really pretty in the fridge. And all of these labels, as I said, you can get on Amazon. I just bought a pack of refrigerator labels. They were $5, and I got, like, I don't know, 22 labels. So good deal.
Yeah, if you're, have clothes for a wedding, would you keep them in your closet? Would you put them elsewhere? Would you section them off?
If you have the space, I would keep it in my closet. If I don't, I bin a lot of things that are, seasonal, that just can't fit in the closet. Something like,
she said, or to get rid of.
To get rid of. So she has special occasion clothing that she doesn't wear anymore.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, then I would say get rid of it. If she's not feeling it anymore and she feels like she'll never wear it, yes, get rid of it. It's always best.
What is your advice when someone has like an attachment to an item that they don't wear, but maybe there's a memory associated with it? What is your advice for that? To keep it for a little bit, or just get rid of it?
Just get rid of it.
Oh, you're cold.
I know I am cold, and I think it's easy for me to say that because I'm not emotionally attached to these items. So I go into someone's house and they're like, should I keep this dress? And I'm like, no. So it's so easy for me to tell them no. And they're like, yeah, but I wore that to my brother's wedding and it really, I'm like, yeah, no, you'll never wear it. It's from the 80s. But yes, they have that sentimental, and I think me having no emotional attachment to that item, it's so easy for me to say get rid of it, and they actually listen to me.
Well, that's good. Maybe I need that because I think I cling
But
on to too many things.
yeah, I just tell my clients when that happens, and I run into that a lot because they're like, oh, but I really love it, but I know I'll never wear it. What do I do? And I'm like, okay, you say just try to hold on to the memory of it, but it doesn't mean you have to hold on to that actual item
Mhm.
to remember that dress or whatever it is. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, this is part of decluttering and it's
Yeah.
hard, but you really have to put yourself in that mental state of, I don't want to live with this clutter anymore. And the only way to do that is to just get rid of all the things we don't use anymore. That's really
Mhm.
the only solution.
I was raised by my parents who are like, oh, hold on to that. We might need it later. So I
Yeah.
feel like I'm trying to be better than that, but it's hard to let go
It's
of certain
really
things.
hard. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why I come in and I'm like, no, let's get rid of everything. Yeah, I think that's why people, I had this one client in Westchester where she just really wanted me to come and sit in her closet with her and tell her yes, no, yes, no. I didn't even end up organizing her closet for her. She just really wanted me to sit there and kind of just push her to getting rid of the things she'll never wear again. So I just basically had to say, no, I'm not feeling that dress. And she was like, okay, if you don't think I should keep it, I'm not keeping it. And
Mhm.
that was that project. She just needed that nudge. So sometimes we need that.
So support system.
Or just, yeah, bring a friend in or something and just say, I need, someone to just tell me, should I keep this or not? It really helps. Yeah, and I know containers are not cheap. I mean, I would say, if you can invest in getting one full set. I know when they're all different sizes and different brands and all of that, it just sort of defeats the
Yeah.
purpose and it doesn't really create that, organized space that where our goal is. So, and I know it's really hard because each container costed money. So I hate to say this, but I think when you get to the point as a gift to yourself, invest in just getting one full set so everything has, its uniform. Because it really makes a difference when they all match and they're, kind of fit in with each. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I did that for Christmas. I had a whole bunch of organizers as well, and I hated just buying a full set. But I'm like, you know what? I've wanted this for a long time and I want them all to match. So that was this set that I bought, it comes in this huge box that you could get at Container Store. So yeah, I mean these jar, I know that you don't want to, put flour in every jar, but say you have one or two packs of different types of flour, say one is all purpose and one is whole wheat or something like that, you could at least have two jars with and these have the pop-up, so it stays fresh. So anything you put into these containers, they, because of this pop-up, everything stays fresh. But I really put them into containers with baking. The ones that are new, like if I have extra new flour, I keep them in plastic bins because I don't like the flour to like fall everywhere and mess up the cupboards. But I do use jars for baking stuff, or just even keeping them into bins. Like, your baking powder comes in these little containers, right? It doesn't mean that you have to take that little container and put it in one of these little jars. You don't have to do that. But I do keep it in a bin that says baking powder or baking products or something like that. So at least it's all contained together. That's something that I always advise people to get rid of. And I know, I know you guys are going to hate me because we hold on. If, it through the years, it can really, really build up. So if you're going to hold on to all of it, you have to have the space, first of all, to hold on to it. If you don't have the space, I always say pick out the ones that you really, really love, who has some extra special meaning to you, and keep those in a little box or a little bin or something like that. People end up keeping all their cards and things like that through the years, and you can end up with 25 bins of things after 30, 40 years. So I've had clients where they moved and they're like, okay, so these cards are coming in. What do I do now? And I'm like, you read it, you enjoy that moment, you know, keep it in your heart and your memory somewhere, and then you toss it. You don't need to hold on to that. But if you are holding on to it, I hope you have the space. And I would say to put them into bins and label them. A lot of people don't have the space to store those things, and your only choice is to throw it out, sadly.
I wonder if you could save your favorites and then maybe take a photo. So at least like
Yeah.
it's less clutter. I guess
So
it's computer clutter
pictures,
then.
I mean, a lot of picture projects that I've done with kids' pictures and kids' artwork from school and things like that. What I've done in the past for clients is, yes, we take images and we can create a photo album. You know, you can send your pictures to Shutterfly and all these other, and just create a book of those pictures. You know, the kids come home with artwork on a daily basis, or there's so many pictures of the kids in that one year or through the years. So you really can create an art book and take images and then just throw out the actual. We can't save all the artwork that our kids bring home through the years. I mean, it's a mountain of stuff they bring home. So what I've done is just that. Just take a picture of it, create a book, and then you have it.
Thank you, Adele.
You're
I think
welcome.
that's it for tonight. Thank you so much for your time and your I don't know.
Oh, you're welcome.
Everything.
My pleasure. I hope I helped, and some people, you know, I motivated some people and inspired people to go organize their homes. And if I can help in any way, you have my information. I'm happy to, you know, help you. And follow me on social media. There's always a lot of things I post, and you know, you can see my work. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate it, and good luck with your organizing. Thank you, Sally. I see you clapping me along.
Uh-huh.
Thank you so much. No, I appreciate that you were all here, and I hope I helped you. And good luck with your organizing. It's a new year. It's a perfect time to just get into our cupboards and our drawers and hit the reset button and just get things out of our house. It's gonna really make you feel good, and it's a really, really perfect time to do that.